It's 1988, and I'm standing in front of my Yarmouth motel room at 11:30 p.m. with Vicky and Chris, frustrated because my friend Paul isn't there yet, and he has the only key to our room. My friends and I had decided to kick the summer off with a weekend on Cape Cod. I walk all the way to the office to get a key and notice a man standing there with his back to me. The smoke of his cigarette is curling into the night. I try the office door, and it's locked, and the man asks if I need help. I tell him my problem, and he nods, and then he grabs my elbow and he pulls me violently away from the door and says to me, "I want your underwear." My screams go unanswered, and his hold on me is incredibly tight. I'm dragged across the parking lot and thrown into a retaining wall. Dazed and nauseous from the pain in my hip, I'm forced into a wooded area. I try to reason with him, but he says, "Shut up, I have a gun and will kill you." So I just lay there, humiliated by what he's doing to me, and tell myself I will never tell anyone what happened to me. When he's done, he tells me to get dressed, except my underwear, and he tells me he's going to take me home and keep me for a while before he kills me. My mind is racing for escape. As he's dragging me across the street, I see a car coming my way. So I jump in front of it. I grab onto the door handle, and he's pulling me in the other direction. The passenger opens up the door and pulls me inside, probably concerned because I have tears and mascara all over my face. I have sticks and leaves in my hair, and my rapist runs in the other direction. My rescuers and I see my friends in the street a little ways down the road calling my name. So I jump out of the car, and Vicky takes one look at me, and she gives me a giant hug, and she leads me back to our hotel room. On the way there, she whispers to me, "Were you raped?" And I said, "Yes," already breaking my vow to myself to tell no one. I'm in the shower, and Paul's on the other side of the bathroom door. He's consoling me and encouraging me to report my rape to the police. He tells me, "If you don't report it, Michelle, he's going to do this to someone else. You could stop that." He is right, so I shut off the shower, and we head to the police station. Yarmouth Police doesn't have a female detective, so I end up with Detective Frank Fredrickson. I am exhausted. My head and my hip are throbbing, and I can't make eye contact with him until he mentions that he is trained to investigate sexual assaults. So I look up and I notice that he has really blue, really kind eyes, and I tell him everything. Next is the hardest part, and that's telling my family. I know it will kill my parents. I tell my mother first, and then she tells the others. For weeks after, I work with Detective Fredrickson, and we meet on the Cape, at my workplace, at Boston Police Headquarters, looking at hundreds of photos of potential suspects. We look at pictures in binders, in shoe boxes, on a computer, and I begin to think I'll never see an image of my attacker, but I'm encouraged to keep looking because almost every week I hear from Frank that there's another similar rape on Cape Cod. I realize that looking at photos isn't really getting us anywhere, so I wonder if we should head out to the nightclubs where he finds his victims and look for him in person. I am positive I will know him when I see him. But what are the chances that out of the thousands of people on the Cape, we'll end up at the same exact place at the same exact time? So we head out the first night to a club, and it's not easy. I haven't been out in a while, and the loud music and flashing lights are really overwhelming, and unfortunately, we don't find him. I am so discouraged at this point, I'm just not sure if I can continue. And then I get another call from Frank that there's another victim, similar rape on Cape Cod. And I just get angry, and I decide I have to stop him. He can't keep doing this. So we head out a second time. And first we go to the police station, and they tell me that this serial rapist is getting more and more violent with each attack. In addition, they remind me that only 1 in 3 people report rape. So it's likely that there's a lot more victims than we even realize. So we head to a club, and again, I'm overwhelmed because here I am in the middle of hundreds of people, all out to have a great time, and all I feel is incredible anxiety that I have to find this man before he kills someone. Frank suggests we head outside, and he says sometimes when you're hunting, it's better to stay in one place. Let the prey come to you. So we huddle on the sidewalk for a few minutes, and I notice a man standing with his back to me a little ways away, smoking a cigarette. It is not a shiver of recognition that goes through me. It is a lightning bolt. I am trembling from head to toe, and I whisper to Frank, "That's him." They take the man to the police station, and they arrest him, and a few days later, when they search his home, they find my underwear, among many others. My rapist, John Flower, eventually pleaded guilty, but he wasn't out of my life yet. I went to his sentencing hearing and sat with 5 other victims, holding hands while I told the judge how this impacted my life. The fear and anxiety, the paranoia, the difficulty moving on. He was sentenced to 18 to 20 years, but to me, that wasn't nearly enough. I tried to move on, but for years afterwards, I slept with a knife between my mattresses. I even carried my boyfriend's gun wrapped in a plastic bag into the shower with me. Therapy and anxiety medication helped to relieve my panic attacks, and slowly I began to heal. Years later, I married, found a career I really enjoyed. I chose a husband who always made me feel safe, but unfortunately it didn't work out. I did end up with 2 amazing children, though. After my divorce, my therapist suggested I meet with a divorced male friend to get co-parenting advice. No one came to mind, and a few days later I was watching TV, and I see a police officer being interviewed. It was Frank, and it had been 17 years since I saw him, and I remembered that he was divorced and that he always loved to talk about his kids. So we got together and we talked about co-parenting. We realized that in addition to the bond that we share from what we went through together, we had many similar life goals and values. And a couple years later, we got married. So people sometimes call Frank and I heroes. Frank for putting criminals in jail, me for working with the police to capture a serial rapist and make sure he didn't harm countless others. I learned 2 important lessons from this experience, though. The first is sometimes you need to be your own hero. The second is that even the most painful experiences can turn into something beautiful. Thank you.